Right.
Nice. So now, what we want to do maybe is
By the way,
yeah.
how would you remove those labels again?
You can right click on it and click label, and then I think you can turn them off. You can turn them off. Yeah. You need to select the line first. And then right click label, remove selection or
there we go.
Yeah. Cool. So let's now connect this to the waste dump, because we'll have that as the primary location first. So if you take maybe cut back 1 as like the first one.
Okay, we can switch off.
So what we want to do is bring up the we need the contours now of the waste dump, but you can just use the design strings. Actually, you don't need contours. You can just use the design strings.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's
yeah. So if you come down to, we'll just use maybe this right-hand ramp just because it's simple, right? So now what we want to do, put the solid back on. So you can just see where, right, so really we just want to go from here to the bottom of that ramp, yeah. So if you click on that line, and then you can extend it by going, well the first thing, we need to make it clockwise again, yeah, that's it. Now right click, modify polylines, extend, interactive. Then turn, yeah, that's it. Then if you turn the click there.
Or maybe
no, it needs to be there, and then turn the solid off for now. Because we want to make sure we're clicking on the lines, yeah.
Okay.
And then just click up, in the middle, it's fine. Now hold on a sec, what have you noticed here?
There's no gradient, so it's actually the Z.
Yeah, exactly. Nice one. So it's good to have the labels on so you can... That's great. And then right click, or we'll just exit that. So, what we're able to do now is we can extend all of those other ones just to copy over that line.
Right, yeah, okay.
First thing I noticed is one of them is at -18%. So what you might want to do is just if you
I was wondering, by the way, can you just edit the coordinates of a point?
Yeah, I presume you can. I don't know how to do that. I think maybe it's by editing this, maybe clicking coordinate or something. I think maybe you can edit, but I've literally never had to do that.
Right, okay. I was just wondering, this is something I've used occasionally. For instance, I noticed when I did the cutback 4 one, the very bottom point, it didn't have 150.000, it was 150.022.
Oh right, okay.
So it would then been easy just to
change it.
But anyway.
It's probably, but I'm not sure how to do that.
Right,
I think it's probably in this. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got...
So I'll just move that point so it's the same as this point now.
Right, yeah,
so
okay. So it was snapped to nearest, so should be able to just move it, right? So if
you can click, it's not drag and drop, you just click once and now move it, yeah. Okay. Why has it got 18?
What is that?
Looks a bit high. Maybe put the top A on and figure out what's going on there. I think that one's not snapped to the topography, hopefully. This one, that's a bit. I think what's happened is...
that one is... Okay, we can maybe just delete that one.
Or just snap it to the top A.
Right, yeah, okay.
So if you just select the point, and then because you're on go to nearest,
and
you can just move that point and just click on the top of nearby. There you go. That's fine. That's good.
So then so we extend this one.
Yeah, but we want to turn the topo off, because otherwise we
Yep.
won't be able to click. It's actually under here as well if you want to,
Yeah.
because it remembers what you've done.
Okay. Right. Yep. This is something I'm just so used to using shift and moving, but
If you select the top snapping one now,
Yeah.
instead of the
oh,
yeah,
this
that one, that's it.
and then it was control.
That's right. And then click and then hold down control. No,
Right.
so
Hold
hold it
okay.
down.
And then I'll just do it. With
No,
the
you don't need to hold, you don't need to click, because it. Let me show
Oh
you
right.
again.
Okay. Okay.
That's it. So if you hold down control,
Yeah.
click on a line. Click,
On the line
that's
or
it.
the point?
That's it. Point.
Okay.
And then now drag round. You see it follows.
All right. Yeah.
And then you hold. There you go. And that's it. And then click. And then right click.
Yep,
And there you
there
go.
you go.
It's
Okay.
done.
Okay. Some intriguing ones here as well.
Yeah. You might as well delete the last point there.
Mm-hmm.
If you right click again,
Yeah.
modify polylines.
Oh, there's the minus 71 now.
And minus 120. Yeah.
Okay. A bit intriguing is everything is negative.
Yeah.
Oh, this is probably because of the direction.
Yeah. Because you're still, if you go back the other one, make that one clockwise.
There you go. Okay, so right, and then we hold control. That one. Still has lowered. And then that one, yeah, I picked this route, because there's obviously several ones.
If you go back to that, bring up the design. And then drop out just highlight number 4. So get rid of number 1.
Alright.
So you came at the bottom there, you went like that.
Yeah, I decided not to do the switchback, but just drive.
Now the problem with that is going to
this
be.
might be gone.
That's going to be a problem. You'll have to come up the switchback, because
Although
that's going to be
this-
air, isn't it?
Is it? Because this is the final bit wall, isn't it?
Yeah, but what we're interested in is, so if you put on, for example, the surfaces here,
Mm-hmm.
and we just go into plan view, okay. We're putting on clipping here. Right, so I'm saying look backwards and forwards 1 meter.
Uh-huh.
So let's make it. So here you can see. Let's just make it this bright. So you can see that we've got the ramp there.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go down a few benches. So, keep going down the bottom. Obviously all these blocks can join to there. That bench is fine, that bench is fine, that one's fine, 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 fine. We switch back, fine, fine, because all these blocks can join to here. That's fine, fine, fine. Right, now, these are the blocks that we have to mine, but these blocks cannot connect to that
Right.
if this is mined out. Yeah, because then this will be air.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why we need
Yeah, okay. I
all
see
of the
where
blocks in here have to be able to connect to this
Yeah.
ramp. So as we keep going up, so you can see that. So same for this bench, this bench, this bench. Yeah, yeah. Now when you get to here, now we're back. We can now mine any of these blocks and take it around and connect in there,
Yep.
and then up to the top. So yeah, so the whole path does have to be run along this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
What I'm wondering though, is it worth redoing this, or we just
No, we need to redo it because when we do the
Mhm.
slot connectors with that into there,
Yeah, I know, I understand
gonna
that you need to
connect.
redo it if you are actually doing an actual schedule, but since
Yeah.
you're doing training, I'm wondering, is it worth spending time fixing that, or
Well, so,
rather
I
do
mean,
it on just 3 cutbacks? Or
we can do. Well, there's another part which I can show you. If I can just do it really quickly if you like. It doesn't honestly won't take very long. There's a thing here that you can use that is just replace between points. So you go modify polylines points, replace between points, and then, for example, if I just want to replace between here and here, let's just make sure that
it would be, the ramp would be coming
this into there, right?
Alright, okay.
And then you can just go like, just make sure it's not, it's going, we'll just, that's done, that's good enough.
Oh,
We'll just leave it at that. That looks okay.
okay.
Cool. So now, what we're going to do is, now that we've got those, and now they're connected to the waste dump area as well.
Yeah, this one we haven't yet.
This one not quite. Okay, oops. We'll just go here.
Yeah, that one will work the other way around.
Okay.
It's not your wireless. It did start at the bottom.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Cool. So now what we're going to do is create these slot connectors. So we're going to connect the mining blocks to these.
Yeah.
So we do that through the interactive scheduler.
Alright.
Not the
load and haul.
yeah, load and haul. There's mining slot connectors.
Yeah.
So you can select that. So again, these ones you just have to sort of step through.
Right, okay, so we want the blocks in it though?
No, because we're going to do the
Alright.
mining ones first.
Oh, okay.
These are the task solids. These are the blocks, the mining
Right,
blocks.
yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Block ID attribute, ID, yeah, start and finish, fine. Default slot connection layer. Now this doesn't exist yet.
Yes.
So I would just create one called mining slot connectors.
Alright, and
You can do that just by typing.
typing it, yeah,
Yeah.
and then it should go under the root, right?
Yeah. And then I do a backslash version 1, just because.
Right.
Default haul road layer. Now, what we actually need is we need all of the haul roads to be on a single layer. Currently, they're all on separate layers. So we can quite easily do that by, if you go down to the layer control, and under haul roads version 1, you can create a layer called combined.
Right.
And then make sure that's active. And then if you go tools, modify, you can go copy, and then copy to active layer.
Right.
And then what that's going to do is, what do you want to copy? So if you go selected layers and OK,
Right. Okay.
then you select 1, 2, 3, 4, and then click OK, and then run. So now that has put them all on layer, so we can select the default haul roads layer combined. Build switchbacks is basically, I think if it needs to build a switchback, then it will automatically do that. But because we've already built in our switchbacks and everything, it's all fine.
Yeah.
You got to now. There's two ways. You got manual slot connectors.
Right.
But we never use this because this is if you're doing like one block to another block. You know,
Right.
one block at a time. We've got thousands
Yeah.
of blocks, right? So we need to use the rule-based slot connectors. So if you create a new line in here, what this is asking us is, right, basically,
Yeah. So we're gonna have to
so if we do,
set some rule up with the benches
if we do like you cut back
and
one,
the cutbacks. Yeah.
exactly, so the blocks, what blocks do we want to filter on? So if you remember we had these stage filters we had previously.
Yeah.
So if we do for cutback 1, now which haul road do we want it to connect to?
That was the cutback one, but they're now combined in one layer.
Exactly. So what we can do now is, if we come in here, we can actually add an attribute onto this layer of haul roads, and we're going to call this the same. We're going to call it stage, and then we're going to give it an integer value and the default value of 0. So we click OK. So now what we've got, if we just look at this,
Pick the right one.
make sure you put the right one. So which one is which?
That's that one.
This one here is stage 1. We can also bring on the interactive filter here. And we can have the stage. So 1 is that one now.
Yeah.
Bring these on, so which one is 2? 2 is that one. 2. Refresh, now we've got that. And then we've got this one on the right hand side is 3. Refresh, and then this last one is 4. There we go, so we've got
Excellent.
1, 2, 3, 4. Then we can simply apply stage is equal to 1. Because it's the same.
Yeah, same value.
Same value.
Oh, same attribute.
Yeah. Then we've got this thing we talked about earlier, haul road limiting polygons.
Yeah.
So, for example, if we're looking at this cutback 1 here, and we bring up the design, we only want the haul roads to be connecting to really anything sort of here.
Yeah.
So, another one to add under haulage, which is basically limits.
Yeah. Okay.
And then under limits we can do cutback 1 limits. So all we've got to do is simply just draw a polygon around where we want it to be able to connect to. So if we so that it can connect to roads inside of here. And press C will close it automatically.
Yeah.
And then we come in here, haul road limiting polygon, limits, cutback 1. Now how do we want to connect the blocks? Nearest within vertical tolerance, that is normally what we use. Tolerance up 10, tolerance down 10. That gives us a bit of tolerance within the bench.
Yeah.
You know, maybe 10 might be too much to start with, maybe 5 meters minus 5 meters. Then you've got this thing here called every road. That's like if for cutback 1 you had 2 possible haul paths, then you cut every road, it would connect to all of them. Whereas this one now, because we've only got 1 haul path, we actually just have it not ticked on, right?
Right. So how would you, just in general terms, deal with multiple haul roads?
Right. Well, at the moment, if you see, all of in the combined, the only ones that we've got are the ones that can go to the waste dumps. What we're actually going to have to do is create another combined later, which has the waste dumps and the crusher or the stockpile. So actually, you're going to end up with maybe 3 for cutback 1, 3 for each cutback. In which case you would select every road. So we're only doing half a job here at the moment.
Yeah. And when you're selecting every road, it's connecting.
It's connecting to every possible path. Yeah.
So in the end, it's generating then distances for each of those.
You could, when you run the haulage scenario, it asks you what do you want to target, and you can say like minimise cycle time or minimise distance.
Right. Okay.
And then it will pick the path.
And then, right. Okay.
But actually, so also the other thing to note is, you know that this waste dump had 3 roads on it. What I've done is, for waste alone, I put 3 roads, and then when I ran select minimise cycle time, when it became longer to go by this ramp, it then switched to that ramp, and then it switched to the final ramp. So
and then it builds
it builds it in a sequence.
Yep.
Exactly. Connection position is like, well, where do you want the block to connect? It's actually the bottom of the block is going to connect. And you can set lots of other bits here. But in the meantime, so once we've got that, if you imagine then we can do cutback 2, stage 2 blocks with stage 2 haul roads, but limiting isn't in the right place. So for stage 2 limits, let's if you know what the name is. Now it's quite important to check this because I've made mistakes in the past where I've done the wrong limiting polygon, and it's very difficult to figure out why nothing's working. So here actually, just got to make sure that you don't accidentally chop off any of the road.
At least for where it's active for the
Exactly. Because you accidentally miss a little bit, and then it won't connect. Right. So that's fine. So now what you can do is you can actually go, if you click display layers, it actually turns on all of the layers that you're using. So just to check, right, we're using all the cutbacks. It makes sense, right? Okay. Then it says delete unconnected slots, no. Delete duplicates, no. Delete all before processing, yes. So that means we're going to delete this slot connection layer. So exactly.
Why would you not delete duplicates?
Well, there shouldn't be any duplicates to start with, so we'll cross that bridge later. So if you go process, ID does not exist in the whole row of instances. Yes, right. Just save. This is one thing about Deswik that took me a little while to get my head around, because it needs to know which haul road it's attaching to. Each of the haul roads need their own unique ID.
Right.
So to do that,
because they are combined in one layer.
yes, but also basically. So what you need to do is, if you go add on here, if you go in here and you need an attribute, right?
Yeah.
If you add an attribute here that's called ID, but we're also going to add another attribute that's called destination, right? So the ID is going to be a string, the destination is going to be a string, default value, we'll just leave it at 0 for all, okay? Now, what this is doing is saying if you select all of these, destination for all of these are the waste rock dump, aren't they? All going to the waste dump.
Yep.
So, each of them has this individual thing called a handle. So, in order to do the filters properly, the best way to give each of the haul roads its unique ID is you go modify attributes using a formula. So, this one is going to be called set haul ID. And what we're going to do is we're going to give each of the specific layer that we're talking about are these combined haul roads. We're going to make the ID equal to the stage.
Right.
Okay. Underscore.
Yeah, it's because I never used to look at. I never look at the keyboard.
Yeah.
I've set it to US International
Oh,
because
okay.
it's not a UK keyboard.
So we'll do stage and destination, followed by the handle, which is this unique CFG handle, right?
Right.
Is this the right nomenclature?
Yeah, it looks okay.
Or is it the other? Oh.
Oh, that, no.
This is weird. Where's the...
If you just want the quotes, you just press space afterwards.
Yeah, where's just normal quotes?
Quote
marks.
Yeah, that's the
But
seal.
where's the double?
Yeah.
That's really weird. Are these all double or single?
Yeah, single.
Yeah, double.
That's,
Yeah. That's all valid now. Right. That's so weird. Never done that before.
That's because of, if you have an E with double points on or something like that, that's the way that works on an international keyboard.
So then...
So if you type in French, it's easy.
Right. So now we're doing stage, destination and handle, and we're going to set all the haul IDs, right? So we click OK.
Okay, it doesn't look like that. Oh, and it wasn't like this one. The quotes were on the other side of the ampersand.
Oh right, that's the problem, isn't it? So how do I do it?
Okay, so it's on the inside of the ampersand, right? So on that side.
Yeah. And
Okay,
that's
so you just do more quotes and then a space.
and then a space, and then the other one has to be on the inside as well. Yeah, that should work now. So now if we do the interactive filter on all roads, refresh, I think should have ID, here you go. So now each of them have got, you know, one waste rock dump individual, you know, and that allows us to differentiate between them now.
Yeah.
So
But if you leave off the handle, it will be a unique ID as well, because the stage is unique, isn't it?
potentially, but sometimes if you imagine you've
Right,
got
if you have multiple, yeah.
yeah. So now we go back to here and go mining slot connector. Should have remembered all this.
Mm-hmm.
We go process. Right. Right. So there we go. So now what we can do is you can do, for example, click on that one and say, let's just look at cutback 1. You go show selected, and then it shows you the blocks coming to the ramp. These are all the slot connectors, right? Number 2.
This one's quite long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite long. Number 2.
Oh yeah, I can see these
Right.
was still on the bench level, but on the other side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cutback 3. Right, so you can see what's happening
Yeah.
is that, for example, on a particular bench level, you can see this block, you know, here is being connected to that point, which is correct,
Yeah.
but it's going through air.
Yeah.
Now this is the one fault in the Deswick haulage, which is a bit annoying, is that the only way to edit these is to do it manually.
Right.
Right. Now it can be a relatively fast process, and I'll show you how we do it. Right. If you
Okay,
select
so the connectors are just regular polylines in that connecting layer.
exactly, yeah,
Right.
they're just a straight polyline from the block to the connector.
Right.
Now, you know how in Mineshed you could put bench lines, and they connect to the bench line, and then the bench line connects to there. This one doesn't have that, and now I think they're probably going to update it. But the way to do it is if you select this, right, you can right click, modify polylines, points, insert on multiple. Make sure you've got the Z elevation fixed and it's no snapping, right? And you click here, like that. So basically you've modified the whole path so it goes to here and then goes to there. And then if you imagine you go down a bench, you know,
Yeah.
you do the same here. Right, it's not doesn't take that long to do it all, you know, but you know.
Yeah.
But we won't bother doing it all for this one.
No.
But you can see see what you would have to do.
Yeah, because otherwise you're underestimating your size.
Yeah, exactly. So, the other important thing is, if we just go display layers again, and then we come out of clipping view, how do we know that all of the blocks are connected? And that's pretty easy. You go tools, select unconnected blocks.
Right.
It says, do you want to base this on the visible slot connectors only?
Okay.
And because we've got them all visible,
Yeah, doesn't
we'll
matter.
go
but yeah.
yes. 39 blocks are not have been selected which are not connected,
Right.
and it will highlight them for you.
Yeah.
So you can see here that none of these are connected. And the primary reason for that is that they are above
Yeah.
the level. So there's a couple of different ways to fix that, but there is another way. You can do nearest within vertical tolerance, and then you can do, if it's not within the vertical tolerance, nearest plan view rest. Okay, it's
and
a bit.
then you would do that for cutback one only, or
Well,
depends.
it looks like it's actually in cutback 3 and 4, I think.
Right. Yeah.
It's a bit of a cheat, and I wouldn't recommend doing this, but it's quick. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I understand.
what I would do is actually go back and add another haul line up here. So
Right.
you actually have 2 haulage, one downhill
Yeah.
and one uphill. Or you add another line just around the pit crest or something for it to connect to. So I've just rerun that. Now if I display layers, select this. Now if I go display layers, select unconnected blocks, case,
Still
18, because that looks like cutback 2 has still got a problem. Run again. One, that's alright, we'll run it on all of them, okay? There you go, all connected.
Alright.
So, okay. So now what we've done is we've connected all the mining blocks to this. Now what we're going to do is we need to connect all of the dumping blocks as well.
Yeah.
So now, this is relatively easy. We go to where it says dumping slot connectors.
Right.
And it's the same process.
Yeah, so I wasn't another version of it. Okay, so the block layers we have there are the Westbrook dumps.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's fine. Default slot connection layer. So we probably want to create a new one. So okay. So do you normally create a dump slot connector one as well?
Yeah, I would create a new layer called mining slot connector. Sorry, dumping slot connectors.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, our layer is the combined one. Rule based. Okay, so then we're gonna have only one path. Okay, so we've got benches in there already.
So we're not really interested in, because it's only one waste dump.
Yeah.
Then we're just going to have no filtering on the waste dumps.
Right, and yes, tolerance should be right. Tolerance maybe 5 minus 5.
You could do. I think maybe the bottom one might be a bit lower, so minus 10's okay. I think.
Okay.
Or tolerance up, I'd leave it at 5.
5.
Yeah, and then tolerance down, I'd do minus 10.
Minus 10. Okay.
I would give it a description at the beginning. I just call it waste block dump. Now, because we've got multiple roads connecting to dumps, you need to click every road. And then connection position top, because now we're connecting to the top of the blocks, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then I would have delete all before processing. And then I would just process that then. Okay, so you move that out of the way a little bit. Right. So what we've done here is, you notice that we're only going to, like, it looks strange because we're going to the centre of each bench, right? Well, that's because the dump blocks ID is the bench. So we need to set up an individual ID for the dump, exactly.
Right.
So I can show you how to do that if you want.
Sure. So you're creating another attribute?
Well, you can still use the ID, the existing ID attribute, but for example, you could have it like the ID could be bench followed by the handle.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and you would add a rule?
Well, the way to do that is to go
formula.
modify attributes using formula.
That's
create a new rule on the left hand side.
Okay.
And you can do set dump ID. And now in here, it's copied the old one.
Right, yeah.
You can just modify this. So instead of it saying stage and destination, you could call it bench and handle, for example.
capital, and
The
then
eas-
brackets.
Yeah, the easiest way is actually
Alright,
to use
okay.
that because it does matter if it's it'll be under custom, I think. So if you look under that one. Oh no, yeah, you're right. It's under the second page.
Okay, so there will be a star or something. I can't see the bench before.
Ah, I know why. If you click,
We're in the wrong layer.
yeah, exactly. So you click cancel. Select the layer here. This is how you
Alright,
select
yeah,
which
that's
ones.
one, yeah, okay. And so this was that one.
Now what you want to do, you want to first of all select none because you see it
Right.
had previously had that selected,
Right,
and then tick that on.
yeah.
That's it. And then go back into the edit, and then you should have bench in there.
Right. Okay, so we should be able to just that's oops. And then
Yeah, bench. There you go. And then click OK. Now, if you can either apply formula, or if you click OK, it applies it anyway. That's good. So now, there you go. So now that one is now got
Yep.
it in a unique number.
okay.
So if you go back into the dump slot connectors on the
Yeah.
LHS.
That's
So then rerun.
yeah, I can just process it.
There you go.
Yep.
Now there's something that we've forgotten to do. You see that it's connecting.
This was
It's connecting from this part of the road all the way down there.
yeah.
You need to put on a limiting
Polygon.
around just where the dump
Right.
ramp is. Because you see it's connecting from wherever
Yeah.
it wants at the moment.
So how would you do the polygon? Just
Yeah.
around
Well, it only
stuff,
has to
or-
be around the where you want the dump blocks to connect to. So
Right,
it's just
okay.
around this little part of the road
Okay,
here.
so we want a new layer.
Yeah. Under limits again, you can
Yeah.
just West Rock dump maybe.
Okay.
Make sure that's active.
Yep. It's gonna take a while before that's second nature. Right, so we basically select this area here.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. Nice.
Okay.
So we go back into the LHS,
And then
do the dump slot connectors. There's a yeah, exactly. There you go. One more process. And just move it out of the way a little bit. So now you can see that it's alright, this isn't perfect, but you know,
Yeah.
it'll do for now. That's one of the reasons why I
yeah, these ones, you know,
Yeah.
you need
You'd
to
actually-
use the other roads anyway.
Exactly, you'd use the other roads. That's why
Yeah.
you'd have another road that comes around here, and actually these
Yeah.
just connect to it. But for this,
That's
we'll
fine,
leave it.
yeah.
So now what we need to do is the same for the dump blocks as we did for the pit to check that they're all connected.
Yeah.
So if you
okay.
click display layers,
Yeah.
it displays only the layers that you've got active in here.
All right.
And then if you go tools, select unconnected blocks, and then click OK. There you go. So your 3 blocks are unconnected. So if you move this out of the way, you should be able to see where. Right, they're tiny little blocks. Right. You know, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Now, in my personal view, I'll just delete those.
Right. Okay.
You know, they're not important.
Nope.
I wonder if you press delete. There you go.
Easy.
Because it selected them for you, you can literally delete them. Then that means if you go select unconnected blocks, all blocks. Now
Yeah.
the reason I did that is what we're going to do is we still need to set dump dependencies as well, like the order of filling.
Right.
Now if that little one there was for some reason not being filled because it didn't have
Could stop
a
the-
connector, it would stop the blocks above it from being filled.
Right.
So basically we need to prevent that from being the case.
Okay.
So let's save. So now what we're going to do is do the dump dependencies. So that's done by dependency creation.
Okay.
I am. No, I don't. I need to nip to the loo very
Sure,
quickly.
no problem.
Say.